Falcon ERX. Cam, explain to Mark. Okay, I'm going to kick back and let Cam explain this to me. How special Coral Gables is. Not a college town like South Bend or Gainesville. Not for everyone.
It is a special place. It's a near-lying suburb to Miami, Miami proper. It is in Coral Gables. The University of Coral Gables. It's not in the city of Miami. It does have a Coral Gables 33146, I believe, zip code to it. But it is a very affluent suburb, near-lying suburban area. You have the iconic, oh my God, what's the hotel? The Biltmore Hotel. So if you've ever seen the iconic movie Bad Boys, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, the suite in which, okay, and this is a spoiler alert to Bad Boys in case you haven't seen it from 20 something years ago, but the suite that the first young lady gets shot in and the other young lady is running over the roof and jumping into the L-shaped pool, that was at the Biltmore. That's the Al Capone suite at the Biltmore in Coral Gables. Legendary brunch. It's like $145, but it's incredible. It's incredible. If you're ever down, go and do that. Right across the street from a church that I used to sing at when I was in college, that my college director was a musical director at. Anyways, but yeah, you have, if you take tennis and golf, the class at Miami, you take it at the Biltmore. There are these tree-lined streets. There are these beautiful, beautiful homes of all kinds of designs. It's very different than the urban setting that you would think of. Like if you see, on every broadcast, South Beach, you see what that looks like. It's lush, it's green, it's tree-lined, it's different in Coral Gables. It's a different speed, it's a different pace. You have Miracle Mile in there. You got, there's a big, beautiful church that we had choir states at down there. The City Hall, the Biltmore building where my choir once had they had the annual caroling competition that we competed in and took second place one year. There's all kinds of shopping. There's food. There's high-end retail. It's just a very different place. You got the Vizcaya Gardens and pool, this beautiful handcrafted stone pool that is unheated but heated by the sun, and everything that you can go to. There's so much to explore in Coral Gables. There's so much to do there, but it's not necessarily hip hop and R&B. It's not South Beach or Brickell downtown, or it's not that place. It's a different feel. It's a different vibe. And then the University of Miami is located on the southwestern corner of Coral Gables, right on US 1, Dixie Highway down there, and everything. So it's this little wedged out portion of the city. So when you talk about an on-campus stadium, they've already said they're not going to zone for that. There's no more room for that unless you buy up blocks of these very expensive real estate homes and everything. But again, they're never going to zone for it. They're not going to have the police infrastructure for it. It's a very different kind of a place. So if I can't make a comparison for everywhere, but if you're in Detroit, you're talking Birmingham. If you're in Chicago, you're talking going towards the north side towards Evanston. That is the feel of a Coral Gables. Now it's very close to Miami, so you got all these kids from Overtown, Opelika, Carroll City, way down south, Pirine, down by Palmetto, way down there in Cutler Bay. It's not far to get to for any of them and their families. Obviously we play at Hard Rock Stadium, which I know is not on campus, but it's a world-class, place, a world-class sports venue. That's even going to be hosting a F1 race for a few years, which is huge. And I'm getting into F1. And if you have not watched that F1 document series on Netflix, you need to watch it. It's incredible. But it's going to host F1 races, Super Bowls, national championship games, all kinds of great things. And it's in Miami Gardens, but it's right up the road. So that is also a big draw. But yeah, to Falcon ERX's point, Coral Gables is not a standalone college town. It's not Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's not South Bend, Indiana. It's not Gainesville, Florida. And a college town, in my estimation, is a town that would not otherwise exist if not for the university that is there. East Lansing, Michigan is a college town kind of, but it's right next door to Lansing, which is the state capital of Michigan. So it's kind of a college town, but kind of not. Ann Arbor would not exist. Gainesville would and should not exist if not for the university that's there. So it's a very different kind of experience for people. And if you come on down, if you're a Canes fan and you finally walk around campus and everything, you can walk from end to end of the Coral Gables campus in probably 10, 15 minutes, from like boundary to boundary, like outside boundaries. If you go to, and I went to Notre Dame when we played up there a couple years ago, you're not going to walk from end to end of anything except for maybe the parking lot in 15 minutes. When you go to somewhere like that, it's a very different kind of a feel. But Coral Gables is a special place. It's a really incredible place. I'm so very glad that Vanderbilt did not give me the extra financial aid that I wanted to go there, and I ended up at the University of Miami. It was the absolute perfect place for me. It's an incredible institution. It's a wonderful campus that's always getting developed. There's fundraising campaigns. Donna Shalala, and I know that she's controversial, but she led multiple billion with a B dollar fundraising campaigns to improve the campus. You have the Shalala Student Center that they're going to rename for a famous African American or notable black student previously at the University of Miami. You have the Frost School of Music, which is an entire basically new campus. You got all these new practice rooms. You have the music library overlooking the lake. You have new football practice facilities. You got new classroom buildings. You have the there's not Huizenga, whatever the School of Business is over there. You got the art studio. You got the art museum on campus. You have all these things going on here. You have all these things developing. And I didn't even mention the fact that like almost every single dorm has either been refurbished or redone. And even my dorm that I stayed in all 5 years, because it was 4.5 years, right around the corner from the School of Music. So I could like roll out of bed 3 minutes if I caught the elevator on my floor, 3 minutes from my bed to my classroom. They're even tearing down those old 1950s and 60s and 70s dorms to put up new stuff in their place. It's an incredible place. And you should be proud to root for a team from that university. And if you ever have the chance and you are a Miami fan and you've not been there, and again, I was a Miami baseball fan, sight unseen. I'd never been to Coral Gables. You know what I mean? But when I took my tour at the University of Miami as a high school senior, other than Vanderbilt, because I fell in love with Vanderbilt for other reasons, it was really hard. Like I had to convince myself not to be sold on the University of Miami because I had this pipe dream at 17 or 18 I was going to go to Vanderbilt. Like I had to like actively say, I feel this and I want this, but I'm going to say, well, what I wanted first is what I really want, even though this is objectively better. It's a special, special place. And I urge everybody, if you come down for a game, carve out a couple of minutes, maybe fly in on a Thursday night, take Friday off from work, right? If it's a Saturday game that you're coming down for. Take a couple hours. It's going to, because traffic is one thing, and then you're going to want to experience it. Take a couple hours, half of the day, leave in the morning, go down, walk around campus, grab some food at the Rat, which is grandfathered into a liquor license. So even though it's connected to the student center, you can still get liquor there, like when it was a freestanding building and everything. But go to the Rat, have a couple wings, have a pitcher of beer, sit in the glider out there by the lake, watch, people watch as students are walking by. You have that serene environment. Go look at the Olympic-sized diving pool that's right there at the UC patio. Go to the bookstore, get something, to memorialize your trip with. Walk over by the Hecht. Go look at the practice fields because you can see the practice fields from one of the parking lots. You know what I mean? Like, I would urge you to do that because as much as we talk about the team on the field, as much as we talk about the player movement and development and things like that, this is all rooted in a love for the University of Miami in the wonderful city of Coral Gables. And I have not been, compensated by the Coral Gables tourism department. I am not, saying, hey, I'm not getting any kickback off of this other than sharing my genuine, deep love for the University of Miami and the city of Coral Gables with all of you. And I hope that you're affected and moved by these words. And again, if you come down, I urge you not just to go to the game, which you should, and that's wonderful, but also go by the campus and see this environment that cultivates and has cultivated all of these athletes, these wonderful players who have come through previously, the wonderful young men and players who are on the team now and will be in the future. It's a really incredible place. And I honestly thank you for that question because I got to wax poetic about one of the most influential places in my life. And I could not love that place or that school any more than I do.
I was going to say, in addition to already knowing that you had an alternate career option in being a recruiting analyst, choir director, of course, has been in your past and possibly in your future. I don't know what your aspirations are there, but it's distinguished in the past.
Yeah.
That yeah, we can add role selling the fine Coral Gables area with the Travel and Tourism Commission.
I mean, yeah, it's a great place, man.
I'm
It
even
really
more
is.
motivated to come down for a game now.
Hey, man, you got money. We'll connect if you do. So
Absolutely.
I'll be around and everything. But no, it's a wonderful, wonderful, fantastic place. And yeah, it's not. And to the other point of that question, it's not for everybody. If you're looking for that urban environment, you might want to go to Pitt. Because their stadium is downtown and the school is also an urban school where it's in the city. Like at NYU, they don't have dorms. They live in apartment buildings in New York City because it's like in the city. You know what I mean? So it's a different feel. Everybody doesn't want to have that kind of suburban-ish feel. Now, you're very close to urban life. Downtown Miami, Brickell is right there. I mean, 15 minutes depending on traffic. South Beach is 20 to 2 hours depending on traffic, who knows. But all the glitz and glamour of the city of Miami is right there. But yeah, you're going to be around campus, you're going to be doing those things. So it is not for everybody, but it is a wonderful, wonderful spot. And if you're here and you love the University of Miami, if you love the Miami Hurricanes football program, see if you go to campus, see if you experience all that, and the depth of the love of the Hurricanes football team is not increased by your connection to the campus as you move forward.
Sounds like a place I would love because I want warmth. I want relative safety. I want cleanliness. I want a place with vibe, environment that's not hyper urban energy all the time, but I don't want to live in the middle of a cow pasture or the middle of Montana. I want convenience. I want shopping, retail, restaurants, places to go. And I want some combination of, it sounds like there's a modern feel, but there's also some historic and character there as well.
There's a building on campus that was the old art building that was used as a CIA headquarters during the Bay of Pigs. Like, you talk about history, like that's your living American history. Like look it up. They took one of the buildings and they're like, okay, cool, we're gonna set up shop here during that. What are you talking about? I'm not even a big history person because I don't really like history like that. But
really?
In terms of sports, I like history. In terms of like just general life, no. My good friend Jason is the social studies chair at Miramar High School, has been for a while. He loves all the history stuff. You can take all that, but in a specific context of music or sports, sure, I like that history. Go on, if you don't know what that is, go and look that up. But then you'll see this, which was a very large moment at that time. They came to the University of Miami and set up one of the headquarters during this large world event, right? So you even have that kind of history, not even just the history of, the area over by the Memorial Building where Santana Moss once saved me from getting pounded into the, pavement, or where, I've told that story before. I'll tell it another time. But true story, by the way. I'll tell it now. Long story short, there's some benches, and football players sat at the benches. So you knew if they're there, you don't cut between the benches. I was late coming from my job to go to a math test, so I was like, yo, my classroom is right here. I'm going to take these stairs, but to get to those stairs from where I was coming, I need to cut between those benches. So I tried to cut between the benches. Big NFL offensive lineman, future NFL offensive lineman, stood up on face. Hey, yo, cuz, what you doing? But like, I'm running like a nerd bomber. I got my backpack on. I'm coming from my job. I'm going to a test. I'm just trying to cut through. No disrespect. Oh my God. He's like, you can't disrespect us in front of the ladies. I'm not disrespecting you in front of the ladies. I'm just trying to get this test. Like, come on, I'm already late. Like, I'm trying to get in here. And so the other linemen who were there, they get up. Santana happens to have been there because he was a senior my freshman year. Go look it up, 2000. And he's like, hey, man, let brother man through. Cool. Awesome. Santana, I saw you today. He's like, hey, I said let you through. You're talking too much. Boom, gone, and I was out of there. But literally saved me from the fate I knew was going to befall me by trying to go there. So I can point that out to you. It has that history as well, but also history of the world from the Bay of Pigs, Cuban Missile Crisis, where, you come down here, you have all these kind of things. So, I mean, you have individual history, you have NFL history, because you can look at any classroom building and say, oh, this is where insert player here went to class. This is where insert player here used to hang out. All that exists on campus as well.
Awesome stuff. I enjoyed that.